Our first inductee, a two-time academic All-American, team captain, all-region and all-PSAC honoree, four-year starter, single-season record for 440 kills in her senior year. She had a career record of 855 kills. It wasn't just the stats for Barb, because she was an outstanding all-around player for the Clarion State College, maybe then, volleyball team. And our first inductee tonight is Barbara Buck. Barbara?
Like Phil Donahue.
They're actually on and ready to go. How does it feel to be back here at Clarion? It's not the same gym that you played in.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I haven't been here in years and years, so it's incredible. It's a lot of good memories.
You were recruited by some impressive schools when you were at Ambridge High School, West Virginia, Kentucky, Hofstra. But you decided to come to Clarion. Why did you do that?
Well, it was between West Virginia and Clarion, and my dad, who took me around to the different schools to visit, was, look, you need to be close to home. And I remember going down to West Virginia, and I just didn't fit in there. It just didn't feel right. And I came here and met the coach, and my dad liked the coach, and I liked the coach, and I liked the players that were here too. I just felt like I would fit in better here.
It's even on a program that's not winning, it's hard for a freshman to get playing time. But you came into a program that was winning and started every match your freshman year. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, that was, you're in high school and you think you're the best of the best, and then you come to college and you realize you're not, right? I think that was a very eye-opening experience, but it also taught me that I had to work even harder. Our coach was tough, man. She was tough. I remember one of my first practices, someone set me a ball and I didn't jump, and she's like, "You're not in high school anymore, Barb," right? Like, it was, yeah. So, look, I think, it was a lot of hard work, right? I just tried to do the best I could, and I wanted to start, and that was important. But there's a difference when you come from high school into a college atmosphere. You're not as good as you think you are. It's an eye-opening experience.
You prided yourself on being a pretty versatile player. I mean, you didn't want to just kills. I mean, you contributed defensively, offensively. Talk a little bit about that, what you felt about wanting to be such a versatile player.
Yeah, I think that was important, right? I actually really enjoyed defense. I liked that. I played that way in high school. I was an all-around player. I wanted to be part of all aspects of the game. I think for me it was really hard to be taken out and then put back in, and you're warming up again. You're kind of trying to get that energy and have a feel for the game. That was very difficult for me. So I worked at every aspect of the game, not just hitting.
You had ended up playing for 2 head coaches, but when we talked, you thought there was another coach that made a real impact on you here. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, Ellen Crandall. She was an assistant coach. I don't know if people might not, the people at the volleyball table will remember, but Ellen Crandall played for Penn State, and she was an All-American. She was actually on the 1980 Olympic team, but that got boycotted, so she was never able to play. And she was the assistant coach here, and I would say that's probably the person that made the greatest impact on me, not just from an athletic standpoint, but more from her work ethic. She was pretty incredible, and I feel very happy and fortunate to be able to work with an individual like that.
You said being a student athlete is really hard.
Yeah.
And I know at the same time you took not only your volleyball seriously, but your academics seriously, since you were an academic All-American. Talk about that, how hard it is to be a student athlete.
Yeah, I think, I grew up in a very small town. It was a blue-collar, middle class. J&L Still was across. It was the railroad. To go to college at that time was a privilege. And to have someone pay partially for your education was even more of a privilege. So, I worked really hard to make sure that I did the best that I possibly could. That was a work ethic, in our family, right? You give it your all, you give it 100%, regardless of what you're doing. And so that was both on the court and off. And, I always knew I'm not going to be a professional volleyball player. Like, that's not going to happen. So I need to be dang sure that when I come out of this, I have some skills. And so that was really important to me, to just be the best that I could be on and off the court. And I see that now. I have 3 nephews. 2 of them played collegiate volleyball, men's volleyball. And it's tough, but it was a hell of a lot tougher then. We talked about this at our table. I mean, now they have nutritionists and, just everybody's going to cater them. It's crazy. Back then, I mean, we're like, tape up your ankle and you're back in. Right now, they're going to some chamber or something, and they're back on the court in 2 days. I mean, it's just nuts. So, a very different experience. But trying to manage your time, that taught me a lot. Being able to do both of those things, yeah. You
had mentioned, and you were blessed with having some great teammates.
Oh, God, yeah.
And
yeah.
I know you want to talk about your teammates, but you also said that Susie Sainer had a real impact on you.
She did, yeah. So Susie and I are still very good friends. She was the middle hitter here, and we've remained friends. We look a lot alike, actually, still. Everyone thought we were sisters, but, you develop that relationship, and I'm just so flabbergasted that people have come. I haven't seen these guys in years, and here they are supporting me, which is just incredible. That says a lot to the relationships and that bond that you make, right? When you're playing a sport and you're involved, you're a team. I met some pretty incredible people, and again, I think the success of not only on the court, but off the court in my career is because of the people that help influence that.
Did you have a favorite season, or were they all pretty significant to you?
Yeah, you and I had talked about this, and I think it was my sophomore year. We were playing IUP. It was we got into the playoffs, and I was playing great. I was playing probably the best, match of my life. I used to run, and people talk about a runner's high, and that's what it was like. Like, I felt like I was just jumping, and it was like I'm touching the sky, and it was that energy, and it was the second game. I went up for a hit. I came down. The opponent had crossed, and I rolled my ankle. And I remember just going, shit. I can't believe this, and the expression on everyone's face, and again, that's a good example where, I was out for 2 weeks probably, wrap your ankle on crutches, very different now, but that's probably the game that I just wonder, if that wouldn't have happened, what would have become of that? Yeah.
You graduated with speech pathology and audiology, and then you took the audiology to another level, both getting the master's here and then ending up getting your doctorate degree.
Yeah.
You work now for cochlear implants, and you see what this technology can do to help people. Just tell our guests here a little bit about what those cochlear implants and how satisfying that is to be able to affect someone's life.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. So I have a clinical doctorate degree in audiology, and I work for a medical device company that implants. It's a cochlear implant. This is a device for people who hearing aids no longer work. So we implant children 12 months of age, all the way up to 90 some, you know, depending on if they can get through the surgery, which is pretty minor, it's outpatient. But, you know, that's why I've been with this company for 23 years, right? It's, we change people's lives. And to see a 12-month-old that has never heard before, and you activate the device and they're hearing their parent for the first time, or even an older individual, you know, a 70-year-old, and they've become more reclusive because they can't hear, and there's typically not a dry eye in the room. And so that's where I feel like I've been extremely fortunate in my career. I continue to work for that company. I'll probably retire there in a few years, but yeah, I've been very, very lucky because, I mean, you know, what we do, we change people's lives every day. So it's pretty incredible.
Well, simply amazing. Finally, would you have some people you'd like to thank or recognize?
Yeah, I mean, my table here, right? There are people that I've played with, and I mean, Susan, and I mean, yeah, there's Janet and Carrie and Ellen, and yeah, well, we used to call her, well, Lee, right? And yeah, I mean, there's everyone at the table here. It was very nice. I was just totally flabbergasted to see that people even remembered me, let alone to come this way to just, you know, support me. We're in a situation now with my family. My sister-in-law just had a liver transplant, and there's been a lot going on, right? So it wasn't really the time for the family to come. So it means a lot to me for all of you guys to be here. I can't even tell you how much it means to me. So thank you very much.
Well, a fantastic career,
yeah,
and a fantastic contribution now after graduation. Let's hear it for Barb Buck.